the black hole. Sing for my soul.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sunshine on Leyth. Leyth. The start of season 13, our second year in the Premier League. I think our aspirations this year, as always, if you are enjoying the series, drop a like, that'd be sick. Our aspirations this year should genuinely just be, I think, to maintain. I think there is potentially room for growth, and it's been a weird summer in terms of the signings. I think there was, in an alternate universe, there's a few signings this summer that we didn't get, that I think strengthens us dramatically and maybe has us on the potential brink of a European chase. But I feel like the lack of getting those signings in, I'll explain more about that later, is what's going to probably limit us to trying to just sort of hit the marks that we did last year and strengthen from within and feel like there's growth and that we're playing slightly better. Try to concede a few less goals. That's literally a strategy for this year. If we can just do that and match our output from last year, I think we'll see a nice step in the right direction. Obviously, we'll look at Blackhaven's transfers in the next video because they actually haven't made many yet. They've only made 3, and only one of them is actually worth any money. So my guess is they're saving their stuff till later in the window, or they've got no money. But let's face it, it isn't that one. So I expect them to do a lot of business as the transfer window goes on. We've got a lot of business still going. There's 2 players that I'm waiting for confirmation on right now that could completely revitalise our midfield because something big has happened and I'm not happy about it, frankly. It's just as simple as that. I'm not happy. But firstly, for those of you that didn't watch the analysis video, the board are upping our stadium size to nearly 19,000, which means this year we're playing our home games at Carrow Road. So expect some large attendances at least, but we will be off the island again until April. They're also dumping like £1 million into our youth and training facilities. The data facilities are being upgraded. The youth recruitment is going. The junior coaching budget is going up. I've brought in a new head of youth development who's amazing. I really want to start cultivating some good talent to come through Whitport. I just want one player to come through our youth academy that we might be able to use. Maybe. So first a word on the biggest sort of signing that we've missed out on. There was a couple that we've missed out on, particularly, but there was a Brazilian striker called Rato who we missed out on, but I don't think there was ever any real chance that he was going to come here. We did sort out a deal because we really needed a striker, but he chose to join Milan. Makes perfect sense, that one, totally. There was another weird one where there was a really cheap guy from Korea who was very good. Wasn't entirely sure if he actually fitted what I wanted to do, but for £2 million, this guy was nuts. Like, he's an easy £40 million player, but for $2 million because he was playing for Ulsan Hyundai. However, PSG came in and I thought, oh, well, that's that dumb. But he chose to move to Watford for less money, which is strange, but maybe he just wouldn't have played at PSG. So yeah, he's gone to Watford, which was a shame as well, missing out on him too. So a lot of players we missed out on. But the biggest one we missed out on was a guy called Alexis Paleo, who was a Mexican international right back. He was godlike, and we were able to pick him up, or would have been, for £8 million in total. Because there was no issue with work permits because he's a Mexican international constantly playing for them. But he chose to join Sheffield United, newly promoted Sheffield United, instead of us. And honestly, I'm gutted about that because we have got Charrier back now, but he was like my dream player. He would have been so good in that role, and it would have prevented us from having to have another loan signing, but that's how it goes. So I'll quickly just run you through some loan signings we've made before we start talking about the biggest thing that's annoyed me, which is one of the outs. In fact, the only out that matters. So let's talk about that now. So firstly, Fraser Thompson, back for another year. Liverpool didn't even bat an eyelid about the fact we wanted to loan him for another season, so we've got him back for another season. I feel like he might, in his contract, I believe, expires at the end of this season, so we might have an off chance of picking up Fraser Thompson, either on a free transfer or incredibly cheap, and that is exciting, because I love this guy. So yeah, he's back. And as I mentioned, Cyril Charrier is also back at the club on loan for another season from Milan. 7k a week, not a big problem. Morelli I didn't get back because Milan wanted the same money on his wages, but they wanted us to pay 200 grand a month in addition, for the benefit of having him, and I was just like, I don't know, I think we could do better. But now onto the out that has pissed me off, and I'll explain why. Actually, firstly, Frode Schurter's gone out on loan to Celta Vigo for a season. You might think that's a strange decision. You'll understand why in a minute. Clive Kimberly has gone to Chelsea for £21 million. So, what happened with Clive? So he had a £21 million release clause. That's how it happened, unfortunately. They were able to trigger his release clause. But what happened was, basically, he came to me, his agent basically said, I want a new contract. I'm like, you know what? He probably does deserve it after the season he's had. So I'm like, let's do it. Let's get you a new contract, Clive. I was happy to make this guy the highest paid player at this club, without a shadow of a doubt. I felt like he was worth that kind of money because he's so damn good for us last season. So then his agent comes in and they put the contract on the table, like instantly yellow, basically. The moment we tried to negotiate anything, it was down to yellow. And he wanted £105,000 a week base wage, with like 110 if he gets international appearances. At that point, what difference does it make? But that's not the thing that pissed me off the most. That was annoying, don't get me wrong, because that would have made his, what would that have done to his wage? What, 10? 8, 9, times his money, which, again, I would have settled for paying a little bit less than that, but I can't afford that. And I would have still happily maybe even given him that if it wasn't for the fact that they wanted to make his release clause £8 million. 8! Not like 8 million for clubs in the Champions League. 8. That's it. No expiry date, no release clause. £8 million release clause they wanted. Why the hell? They basically put us in an impossible position where either we give him a new deal where we basically like pentuple his wages and reduce his release clause by 13 million, or he's unhappy. And then he complains about it, which is great. And then Chelsea swoop in, get him for £21 million, and he's gone anyway. So I guess we sort of got the right end of the stick in the sense that we didn't lose him for even cheaper. Because the thing is, had we given him that deal, he would have cost us a lot of money in wages, and then he would have gone for £8 million to someone else the moment he got the chance, it would appear. So that's kind of very, very frustrating on the whole Clive there. A hero for us has now turned villain, basically. I'm putting him on a level of Tony Harris for the absolute shithousery that was in the transfer window. To lose him for that kind of money still annoys me to this day, particularly as this guy started at Chelsea, so now he's just rejoined his boyhood team, I suppose, and maybe that's part of it. But yeah, annoying nonsense with the agents there, completely trying to ruin us, and unfortunately it put me in a really difficult position because, of course, Buffo we'd sold in January because we knew we had Cost coming in, but now Cost was in a position where he would potentially be our starting playmaker in the league. So I've been frantically trying to find someone, and I have found someone, but he's not signed for us yet. So we're going to be starting with Raul Cost in the midfield today in the Premier League against West Ham. It's not great, I grant you, but I feel like our hands were completely tied behind our back on this deal. Sucks. So first things first, Raul Cost has joined us. This is he, the Romanian, not an international yet, 19 years old, joins us for, well, basically no money. It was like, I think it's actually a free transfer as it goes. I think his contract was expiring. So good passing, nowhere on the level though that Clive Kimberly was, quite simply. But he is here, and he's a cheap option for us, worth 3.7 million, 20 grand a week. I like the guy, I do, but he's not the same level as Clive Kimberly, and I do think we're going to be slightly lacking in our creative options this season, potentially. I've also brought in Grant White from Inverness. You might think, what? He was free. We got him on a free transfer from Inverness. Now, I have brought in another striker, don't worry. The reason I brought in Grant White was quite simply because he was available, and he's really, really good. For a free signing to be of this kind of quality, he doesn't have the stupidest amount of pace, but he's very, very good on the acceleration, good dribbling, first touch, solid decision-making. Off the ball's not too bad either, composure, anticipation. He will do a job for us, and I really do think he's a solid option. And next up is a centre-back. I said I wanted another centre-back. I know we got Fraser Thompson back, but the opportunity to come, and I'm going to need some help on how to pronounce this guy's name because there's a lot of symbols over the A's. So Madeleine Mitala is a Romanian centre-back. We've gone for two Romanians. So less Serbians this time, although there is a really good Serbian centre-back at Manchester City, but they got there first. Yeah, 6'7", he's quick. At 6'7", to have that kind of pace is insane. He's only 20 years old, lacks a little bit on the aggression. I would have liked that to be better, but he's decently brave. Heading, marking, and tackling are sort of okay, but with loads and loads of room to improve, it would appear. And he's only 20 years old. So we brought him in for 4.7 million from FCSB. I think it's a solid signing for that kind of money. I feel like he'll definitely be worth more in the long run. Next up is a signing I did not expect to make. This is Flammarion, a right-sided midfielder, and I tell you what, right? I wasn't even looking in this position, but this guy came about, and I thought, what? And you might think he's Brazilian, doesn't have caps. How did you get him? Because there wasn't enough transfers made yet. So because he was Brazilian or something, because we paid over a certain amount of money for him, we were able to bypass it on appeal. And the physicals on this guy, he's 22 years old, 16 pace, 15 acceleration, he's got great agility, he's basically got perfect physicals. 6'1" as well, can finish, crossing and dribbling of 14 and 16 respectively, 20 determination, passing, technique, work rate solid, vision is excellent as well, great composure, great anticipation, great off the ball. You could probably retrain this guy as a relatively competent striker, and he's called Flammarion. He sounds like a Pokemon. And this guy cost us £14 million in total. We had to pay over 12 in order to it to trigger the thing. And this is Kaio. He was sort of my second choice option for us to try and bring in that pressing forward. The main reason I went for him is very obvious. Pressing forward. Good work rate. Solid mentals across the board. 23 years old. He's quick-ish. Tall-ish. Tall enough, anyway. Finishing isn't spectacular, but then neither was Fran Sullivan's. Great first touch. He can take some corners for us too. Good anticipation. Off the ball's a little bit suspect. Composure's not fantastic, but 15 million. I was again happy with this one. He was another one of those players that we were able to pick up because of the transfer fee that we were able to pay. And it wasn't like we were being screwed out of that. We weren't paying more than we needed to. This was just the amount. It's 7 up front, 7 in 3 years. But that, unfortunately, is the end of our business. We've got 2 more players in the pipeline. We'll talk about those in the next episode. It's a ball-winning midfielder because I feel we really do need one, particularly as Luke Watson's our starter now. And he's decent and he's very cheap. And obviously the guy from Braga too. Now, we've still got a ton of money left. So if I can find some other signings, I will pick them up. But we really have been struggling this summer. All in all, I'm still kind of happy with the summer. But if we hadn't lost Clive Kimberly, I'd be much more happy with the way things have gone. The midfield is what really worries me. So we'll just get rid of some of these trialies. Obviously, they can't play. So we'll just undo that. Go for unavailable. So the strike force, I'm going to start with Ropas instead of White, because Ropas has been smashing things in for us in pre-season. He's been absolutely hammering 4, 5s and 6s in matches. Nelson now moved over to an attacking role, which is what we wanted to do anyway. Flammarion on the right-hand side. This front four looks stacked. Charrier's been okay, and I want to see if he can do it again. Vertelbor I was happy with. Connor and Thompson in the back line is really, really solid too. Literally, we're basically perfect in a lot of areas, except here. This is where we're weak. Obviously, Kost will improve here once he's learnt the role, but I feel like with the 2 guys I'm looking at, that could definitely strengthen us. Now, it won't be 4 stars, but they'll definitely be better. They'll be sort of 3, 3.5 star players that could really push that part of the team up. So all in all, still fairly happy with it, but it definitely could have been better. Fran Sullivan is back, but he's still going to take a little while to get that full match fitness back again. I couldn't believe he's actually made it back for the start of the year. That's nuts. But bench-wise, we definitely look stronger. There's a lot more options around this team than we had before, and that's kind of pleasing. There's other players like Bradley Davison's gone out on loan for a year. There's a load of players have left on loan for a year, basically, just to keep them getting some game time. So the bench will be Vukuripa, Mitala, Morton, of course, White, Chan, Buzidi, and Win Billington. Although, actually, I'm tempted to put Sully on the bench instead of White, just because that way we've got a bit of both. West Ham play a very strange system. I mean, just an incredibly weird shape. If anything, I expect next episode to contain more transfers, potentially, because we've still got an insane amount of money due to the Clive Kimberly transfer, and I've barely managed to spend any of it. We hadn't spent that much of our money in the first place. We had £43 million. And in addition to that, well, obviously, Blackhaven's transfers to come along as well. So we will see. I don't think we're complete yet. If we can strengthen this midfield in the positions I want, worst comes to worst, there's a guy at Manchester City who's willing to join us, but it would cost us £40 million. Now, he's very, very good, but because of the fact that he's at City, it would, yeah, it's very expensive. It's more of a last resort if we can't get this other guy through. Now, other results elsewhere. Bristol City lost 6-0 on the opening day, and Blackhaven were thumped by Spurs for 4, so that's quite surprising. Although, actually not that surprising. When you looked at some of their performances against the bigger sides last year, they did tend to get spanked by the larger teams and sort of scraped out wins against the worst teams. Here we go. But if we start off with a win, Kayo with the ball through, Thompson flicks it down, and Watson with the strike. I'm encouraged for the chances of the new year, but ooh, that's not bad. And there you go, Kayo's able to bring that down. That's the exact thing we were missing before. Simon Nelson further up the pitch, gets his shot away. Vertelbor into the box. He's going to have room for the shot as well, and Vertelbor gets the shot on target. Very, very strong start from us. This is what I wanted to see. He showed me in pre-season that he could really score goals. He was by far the top scorer. And Ropas is all the way through and again gets the shot away. Better. We've started like a house on fire. And I say a house on fire in a good sense this time because it's like someone's house you don't like. I mean, this is a very, very good start. I don't think I've seen us play this well. Actually, ironically, since the last time we played West Ham. Kost with a nice little ball into the channel for Cow. Someone let me know how to pronounce his name. Is it Ko or Chao? Oh, well done. He keeps hold of it. Cleared away. Flammarion will pick it up. First opportunity for him to do something. Whips it across. Nelson! Oh, lovely ball for Ropas. Takes a good first touch. That was always going to be a tough angle for him, but he's nevertheless got it back again. And another save for Maximenko. Kayo's ball to the back post. Flammarion's in there and he scored on his debut. Half an hour into the game. My God, look at the sprint speed. The 2 new signings combine for a goal to give us the lead there. And I think it's about time we got that one. Lovely ball to the back post by Kayo. And Flammarion, from an incredibly tight angle, has somehow squeezed that in with a scissor kick of all things. And he ran through the net. We've signed a ghost. What is this? I'm going to call him the Ghost from now on. Is he a ghost Pokemon? Is that what it is? Griggs. Looks for Nelson. Nelson will get this. He's got that height and power to bring that down. I need a good year out of him for this season. Oh, lovely. Skips past one challenge. All the way through for Ropas. And Flammarion is at the back post. I feel like Ropas is... we talked about this in the analysis video. I feel like Ropas's XG would be so much higher than his actual goals scored. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before he starts scoring. And Nelson's header saved. Oh, and it's Costa who ends up putting it away. What a first half performance. Good Lord. How are we not more than a goal up here? Well, I mean, that is a stunning first half display, but we have to score another goal. I feel like it's important for his, mental health as a player at this club that he gets his chance. Oh, what a save from Russell Griggs. And Vertebral, look at the spacing behind. Oh, Nelson had made the run. Right, he's got it back again, though. Can he take his man on, get that byline, get that ball across? He does. Flammarion, and it's over the crossbar. Thompson for Charrier. Now we've got a bit of an overload. Can he slip it into the channel, maybe? Costa. Nice ball for Nelson. Might go alone. Might square it. Does finds Ropas and again on target. But I do wonder if maybe we do need to make a change. What a stop from Griggs. That was world class. The deflection, and I think he kept it out with his feet. Penalty. Are you joking me? What a piss take. Go on, Griggsy. Well, joke. Angry sipping intensifies, right? Well, no, it looks like we're not going to win the game, because of course not. Insanity. Yeah, got to take your chances, quite simply. I'm glad we're creating them. I am. That's always a good sign, but how on earth have we not won this match? Griggs did everything he could there. He kept out an almost point-blank guaranteed goal, and they still give away a bloody penalty. I don't even know how the penalty was given, but it's 1-1, and somehow we've not beaten West Ham there. 20,000 people, by the way, the highest attendance ever for a Whitport home game, and they've witnessed a really strong performance that's ended up getting us nothing. Well, a point. But Raul Costa at least had a good game on his debut for the club, so I guess there's that. He did look very, very good, to be fair, but I just feel like we need someone slightly better in there. But honestly, it wasn't creativity that was the problem today. It was finishing. Ropas could not score. Every time. He hit the target every single time, but he just could not seem to put it in the net. Ah, dear. There is much work for us still to be done. I think KO looked good on his debut. I think Flammarion looked good. He got the goal after all, which is important. I think we could definitely play better. There is definitely much work to do, but at least some of the new signings are bedding in quite nicely. We'll have to see how White does when he gets a chance for us as well. See if these new guys join us. They won't probably... Actually, they might be. 2 of them could be in by the next video, literally. Because they're both waiting to just be, like... I'm waiting for them to just agree the contracts and go through. So we could have a brand new midfield by the time that comes along. Now, it won't be stars and stripes better, but it will definitely be an improvement over what we currently have, or at very least give us more depth there. So there we go. So if you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope you have, drop a like on the video. That'd be superb. I think it bodes well for us still, despite not actually getting the result. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be awesome too. It's the Streamer Showdown right now. So if you're watching, then head over there too. I'll be probably out by now. So yeah, do that. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Hold your gun, Cappy Bar. Bye-bye.